Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today on Hercules and the Space Gods, I'm proud to bring you the URANTIA book with the one, the only, the legendary, and the cosmic Hick Curto and his planet in the background.
Thank you for that wonderful and very accurate introduction.
My pleasure.
Oh boy. Well, this has been quite a week here because the URANTIA book tells us that on August 21 at noontime, Jesus was born. That is incredible news. Of course, being in America and being brought up Christian, of course, December 25th has always been what we thought was Jesus' birthday, but it is not. And it's also, there's a very interesting backstory about how that came to be. But I just want to spend another second without introducing my wonderful guest. She's one of my very favorite interviews always. Diane Labreque from Canada. Welcome.
Yeah.
Great to have you here.
Nice to be with you once again. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And many more hopefully will be coming along also. Uh, so it's a joy to always see you. And obviously you also celebrated on the August 21, the birthday of Jesus. Did you do anything special for that day?
Yes, I actually received in my place, in my house, and we had a beautiful study group that lasted many hours. Everyone was very, very inspired. And after j'ai cuisiné, I cooked for everyone, and it was delicious. Took pictures anyway, so it was nice. It started from 10 in the morning, and we finished 6:30 at night, 7, something like this.
Oh, that sounds like quite the party. Good for you. Good for you to do that. Oh, how wonderful.
Yes.
I wish I could have been there. I really do.
Yes. Maybe I'll go to Central Park to join you one day.
We had such a good time, Diane. It was wonderful to see some friends from Connecticut as well as New Jersey. I haven't seen them in a while. And also a couple of new people came as guests of friends, and they were terrific also. At one point, I called everybody together. We had a picnic table under a beautiful shade tree, and that was in Central Park on the Upper East Side, right in back of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So it's a perfect setting. You have the joggers on the main road. You have a lot of people doing picnics there, and it's a very joyful place to spend a sunny afternoon. So, and we got a picnic table, which I was hoping we would get, and we did. So we had chairs, beach chairs also, plus the picnic table. So there was room for everybody. And it was a very joyous, joyous time. And what I did when I called everyone together, they saw a cake, which I had there, and I asked everybody if they would make a statement, just whatever they're feeling at the moment. And we went around the table, and everybody joined one at a time and made a statement about how they felt that day. And it was a very beautiful together feeling, and everyone loved it. They all told me later it was a wonderful tribute to Jesus, and they just loved being there. I understand that you're a very good cook, by the way. That is, well, that's what I heard.
When you cook with love, it tastes good.
Yes,
And not only this, but I come from a family of 12, as I told you before.
yeah.
And my mom was an excellent cook. Every week, every weekend, we would always ask, like, who's going to come and visit, you know? And it was like being in Hollywood. My mother would put her jewelry and no wonder why I went into high fashion design, because my mother was always glorious and hair done. And, you know, in those years, like ladies looked like really beautiful ladies. And the table with crystal chandeliers and everything, you know, and the lace and tablecloth and the food and everything was made by hand. And so I guess I monkey see, monkey do. So I watched her and I copied her.
You copied from the best. You copied from the best. And that
Yes,
is smart. That is very
yes,
smart. Oh,
yes. And
that's a wonderful
it was
story.
very much appreciated. So I think that the best way to tell people that we love them is to sit around a table, eat something that is really, really delicious, made with love, and living in the mode of love and telling each other how much we mean to each other. So
That's what keeps families together.
yes, yes,
And if families do not do that, I think that the chances for miscommunication and drifting are much greater. So I totally agree with what you just said.
it's so true. And the mother, the woman, is the nucleus, just like an apple has a nucleus, the core. The woman is the core, because as long as my mother was alive, even my father died young, 48 years old.
Oh,
But my mother died at 88, I think. As long as she was alive, we would always go see her and have family parties and all this. As soon as she moved on to the Morancho worlds, we started to drift a little bit, and then a few together, but it's never been the same as when she was alive. And so the importance of a woman, you men are beautiful, but we women are also beautiful and very meaningful in God's pattern. And that is to keep the family together, the home sweet home. And so,
absolutely true. My mom was Irish, my dad was Italian, and they both came from 7 brothers and sister families. So I had amazing amounts of aunts, uncles, and then cousins forever. So
yes,
it was quite something. And my mother, being Irish, and only did Irish cooking, of course. And so the long story short is that my mother, when she was married to my dad, went to her my father's sisters and said, "How do you cook? How do you make your sauce? What do you do for your pasta? And what do you use for meat if you're going to have meat there?" And my Italian aunts told my Irish mother what they did and how they prepared it. And so my mother did the same thing and absolutely perfected cuisine, Italian cuisine. And here's the bottom line. My little Italian grandfather, who came from Italy, very old, he must have been in his late 80s, and he was invited to dinner, of course. And after the dinner my mother had made, he came over to her and whispered in her ear for no one else to hear. And this is what he said: "Margaret," which is my mother's name, "you are the best Italian cook of the family, but don't tell anyone else."
right.
Isn't that a great story? True story.
Yes, it
True
is.
story.
Those are wonderful memories, when we look back, and to be able to laugh and giggle and smile and remember all those. And anyway, beautiful memories.
Now, Diane, were you raised Catholic?
Yes, to the point that when I was born in Quebec City, but I was raised outside of Quebec City in a beautiful, actually, the first trip that Jesus guided me to organize to the Holy Land, to his Holy Land, I call it the Holy Land of Jesus. And I will always remember I went there for almost a month alone with him and let him guide me. I had never been there. I rented a car, drove the opposite, everything, but I went on pure living faith. And I said, Jesus, you guided me here. You show me the way. And
Wow.
when I arrived in his area of Capharnaum or Capernaum and Nazareth and where he was raised and all this, and Tiberias, I remember that I was driving, Nick, and it was so beautiful. And all of a sudden I looked, oh my God, it was like a deja vu. A deja vu. It's like I said, oh my God, Jesus, this is exactly like my hometown where I grew up.
Wow.
The same. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating, Nick. It was strikingly similar with the plains and the fields, and the only difference is that they have lots of palm trees over there, and we don't in Quebec. But other than the palm trees, the atmosphere, that I felt like I was driving in my area. It was like my second home. I felt like it was home.
That's a wonderful story. I never heard that
Yeah.
one before. Wow, good for you. And what an adventure. What an adventure
It
that must
was.
have
And
been.
for 1 month, he drove me and guided me and turn here and go there and do this. And I thought it was only for myself to go there. And when I came back, within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, one night I was in bed sleeping, 3 in the morning, woke up, okay, time to go. All right. I got up, I came to my computer, and God knows I'm telling the truth. When you meet him in the Morancho world, ask him, did Diane tell the truth? He'll say, yeah, she did. And I opened the computer, Nick, and my screen was showing the place to go.
Wow,
I didn't even have to do a search. And I
that's
got
incredible. That is absolutely
And this is
incredible.
God honest truth. And I contacted them at 3 in the morning. Well, it was 10 in the morning over there. And I contacted them and I asked if I could organize, make a reservation for a group. We were a bus full the very first time. And they said within minutes, they answered, yes, Diane, we will be happy to welcome your group. You should see the place where we were, on top of Mount of Olives, overlooking
Oh, whoa.
of the old city with Temple Mount right in front of our eyes as your backyard. It was like this moment after moment. I just let Jesus guide me, and that was it. And that's how the trips got repeated and repeated and repeated. And so Jesus is indeed alive, not just
That's what you just said would make one great T-shirt. It would say, Jesus is my guide.
yes, he
Right?
is.
It just right. You certainly underlined that. Now I've got to ask you because I've never been there before, and I want to go someday. Perhaps if you're doing a tour, maybe something like that would be absolutely amazing. But my question to you is the following: the location where Jesus was born and the
Yeah.
location where Jesus was crucified. I just can't imagine visiting the area where Jesus was crucified. I mean, just telling you this kind of sends a shiver up my spine. Now, did you visit both places?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Could you
Absolutely.
give us some idea what you were feeling and what that was like? I'd be very interested.
Well, to be honest, to recount my personal experience, Nick, I felt I was in a state of grace. I felt he was always present and just guiding me and showing me the way. And it was like, I have witnesses, the students, the readers that came with me and at the trip, they witnessed even one time, uh, the road to go to a very sacred place got blocked. Why?
Oh,
I don't know. Political, there's a bit of political state in Jerusalem, But
mhm.
all this to tell you, my sister was there. I have witnesses here as well as in the States or other countries, and they had blocked the road. And then we got there, the driver is stopping, and then we go, oh my God, we can't go there. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then my sister said, Diane, roadblock. I said, just a moment, please. So I asked the driver, I said, do you mind to open the door, please? And just wait for me. Don't move. I got out of the bus. I made a prayer. I asked Jesus to guide us and to help us through this unexpected event. And the police, the guards, the army, they were there and everything. And it was at the bottom of the hill. And it was a very important spot we were going to go visit. And I I said hello. I was very tactful, like Jesus taught us to be. And I spoke with them and they said, ma'am, you cannot pass. No one can pass. This is blah, blah, blah. And he goes on and all this. And I said, oh my God, I feel so bad. I brought people from different countries and we were so anticipating. And anyway, don't ask me everything I said because I don't remember. He was speaking the words and I was just,
Oh,
and
wow.
all of a sudden, Nick, the police guard, he says, well, I can do one thing, ma'am. I can, and there were barriers, like big wooden barriers. He said, I can move the barrier, tell your bus driver to pass. You go visit. I'm going to, as soon as you're past, I close the barrier again. And when you're done, call the guards over there on top, tell them you finished visiting. We will wait for you guys down here.
Oh,
We'll open the barrier, let you leave, and then close the barrier again. I said, only God can do this. I went back in the bus. I said to the bus driver, he said that he wants you to go right away and go. We went, closed the barrier, we visited, we took all the
wow.
time necessary. At the end, I told the guards, can you tell the man downstairs that downhill that we are done? Tuck, 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 tuck. Okay, he said you can go. He's waiting for you. That was
It's
beautiful.
incredible. That is absolutely amazing.
It's only one of so many experiences. But what really amazed me is that I had started to learn Hebrew and the language. And when we went to Bethlehem, for us, French people or English speaking people, we say Bethlehem and Bethlehem and things like that. But it is so symbolic that even the master chose to be born in the place that is called Bethlehem. And Bet means the house, Lechem, the house of bread. What
I
is
never knew that. Thank you.
not either? And so he was born in the house of bread. Give us this day our bread for tomorrow.
Or daily bread.
Yes.
Wow. That again, you are so wonderful at connecting the dots. You are.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
another one of those stories. Wow, that's amazing. Now, what were your feelings like when you visited that particular area of the birth of
It
Jesus?
is. It is very, very moving, especially when it's your first time.
Yeah.
Because I've come to understand, because I kept wondering, when I went there the first time by myself, I was in tears just about all the time. I was so moved and so touched. And then after that, when I organized all the different trips, Nick, I observed a pattern that readers, men, women, would come to me and then they would say,
Do you want to get some water or something?
no, that's okay, thank you.
You okay? All right.
Thank you, Nick. And then men, women would come to me and all of a sudden they would say, Diane, I don't know how to explain it to you, and they would weep and weep. And then I would say, you don't need to tell me, I know I've been there in the same feeling. And it brings you to tears. And then one day I thought of one thing, Nick. We know that Jesus lived his human life, his human part life, his part human, and then he lived his divine part, his ministry, his 3.5-year ministry and all this. And then I realized that because he's a creator son, Michael, a son of God, okay, God himself, the son of God, when he walked on earth in that area during his public ministry, after his baptism, when he was fully in his divine, doesn't it make sense that being the being of divinity that he was, that where he walked everywhere, he put his steps, it left an energy. And that's what I understood, because one day I was walking by the beach around the Capernaum, and I was by myself. I took my shoes off, my sandals off, and it was a beautiful day. And I was by the edge of the Sea of Galilee, and I was walking on the shore, and all of a sudden, it was like I was transported in time, and I was made aware that Jesus and the apostles, exactly where the church is, and there's a beautiful statue of Jesus. And Peter, you know, when Jesus said, "Who do you think I am? Who do you say I am?" Okay, so in that area, and I was walking by myself, beautiful, bright sunshine, no clouds, nothing. I'm walking on the edge of the water, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I was made aware that the master and his disciples, I'm telling you, and I still have shivers in my legs, that the master and his apostles had walked exactly where I was walking.
Think of that. Wow, that is incredible.
On that edge of, at the
Yeah.
shore of the Sea of Galilee. And I was walking and I felt like there was something, you cannot explain it in human words. It's just for the people who are, like Jesus said, let those who have eyes see and ears hear. So when you have developed that spiritual sensitivity, you don't need words to explain. You live it, you bathe in it. That's why I say it to be in a state of grace. It's beyond just the physical of, hey, you know, and this and that. No, it's another dimension. It's higher. And it was like, so that's what I'm answering to you. The different places that I brought people, many people came to me in tears and said, "Oh, Diane, I can't find the words to tell you." And I would say, just holding their hands, hugging them, "You don't need to tell me. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you're living." And I think it's the second best thing to being there when 2000 years ago, when Jesus was here in his physical body, walking here on Earth, on URANTIA. But before dying and leaving the planet, I think the second best thing is to go visit his holy land, take the time to 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 let your whole body, your whole being be impregnated of the meaning and the discoveries and what you see and what you read and what you feel. And oh, it's beautiful. I would move tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Diane. That is quite something. I know that I would be just like you. I would be taken with the place, with the amazing energy, and knowing what was going on at the time of his in his life, and he was seeing very much what you were seeing there. Obviously, there's probably new buildings and there's other things, but basically being there, it would be very much like what he saw. And wow, that just knocks me out. Now, I got to tell you that when Mel Gibson did the movie of the crucifixion, I couldn't go. I couldn't handle it. I thought
Yeah.
about it and I thought, do I want to see a crucifixion of Jesus? And the answer was no, 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 I can't. Even in a movie form, it was way too much for me. And I said, I appreciate his efforts because he made a huge effort to get it right and to get it
Yes.
very accurate. And people who saw it said that they were crying in the movie for sure.
Oh,
And that Mel Gibson did everything he could to make it as accurate, unfortunately, and as painful as Jesus was dying on the cross. And so, but I couldn't see the movie. Now, I know that I would feel the same way if I was close to where Jesus was born. But the other part of that was at the end of his life here, where he was crucified. I can't imagine standing there or being in that area, but I'd like your take, your feelings, your emotion on when you were in that particular area also, please.
I was, but if you allow me, Nick, before, I'd like to tell you another very special experience I lived. And
Sure.
that, okay, thank you, because it really struck me. That was the very first time when I was guided, when he guided me to go to his Holy Land without me knowing. I thought I was going on a vacation and just for myself. But I realized when I came back that he had brought me to his Holy Land in preparation for organizing pilgrimages for URANTIA book readers, but I did not know that. He had not told me anything. So I will always remember, Nick, I had just arrived in Jerusalem. And as I told you, I stayed at the place where I brought other people. We actually had two beautiful places in Jerusalem, on the Mount of Olives at La Maison d'Abraham, and also right in the old city on the how do you say in English of the cross, you know, where all the 10 stops,
Oh, I know what
the
you mean.
chemin de la croix. But anyway, people know what I'm saying. But that night I was sleeping in my bed alone at the Maison d'Abraham, which is like next to the old city, like I told you, the Dome of the Rock, the famous Dome of the Rock worldwide, was right in front. And so I was sleeping. I had just arrived there and it was like all brand new to me, you know. And then again, I woke up 3 in the morning again. And I looked at the time. I was very peaceful in a state of prayer. And then I will always remember he let me know because I said, I am so happy to be in Jerusalem and all this here with you. And oh my God, thank you so much. And then I was inspired that one day, right now, we know that peace on earth is related to Jerusalem, okay? And one day, when peace comes, when humanity reaches a level of peace, that all people of all religions unite, and that we love each other as he loved us, and that we establish the beginning of the kingdom of God, you know, on earth, the brotherhood of man. And what I was made aware of is that one day now it is called Jerusalem, okay? Because when Makiventa Melchizedek came, it was he appeared in Salem, which became known as Jerusalem. And I was made aware that when mankind will reach universal peace, it will change to Jerusalem, because Salem means shalom, peace, okay? And when humanity will rise up in its spiritual state and reach peace, it will become known as Jerusalem. Just change the R for an S. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the peace of Jesus, Jerusalem, shalom, shalom of Jesus, the peace of Jesus. And I thought it was so beautiful. It makes so much sense, you know? So we're almost there. We just need to change a letter.
Can't come soon enough. Cannot come soon enough for sure.
Exactly. We wish
Oh
it
boy, especially
soon.
what's going on now, which is so troubling worldwide, and
Yes.
there's so much anger and what shall I say, manipulation going on all fronts, and it's really sad. It just is, and we
Same
need to
time.
turn it around. We just need to turn it around and feel the peace and the love that Jesus said, love your fellow man because as I loved you. And you can't get a better example of love, of deep love, limitless love. I love the word limitless love than what he showed us in his life by living it.
And there's another word that goes well with what you're saying, Nick. It's called unconditional love. We are so conditional humans. We love someone if they love us. We love someone if they bring us what we expect. It's always conditional. Otherwise, I don't love you anymore. But Jesus loves us as God, unconditionally, without condition. We need to open our heart to develop that love, that we will love each. Actually, that was going to be on the theme tonight because I lived something just a couple of hours ago and it was related to that. But those are big teachings, really big teachings to learn from. So, but it is an experience of a lifetime.
It sounds amazing, and I really hope that my life will take me there
I'll
at some
let you
point.
know for the next trip.
Yeah, please do, please do. And in fact, why don't we do a program of what you would be, where you'd be going and so forth in your research? That would be a wonderful program.
Be nice.
So we
Because
will do that.
I've made trips for every occasion. At his birth on 21st of August, at Easter, his ascension,
Oh,
at Christmas time, when it's Christ's Mass, the Mass of Christ believers worldwide. So we've gone there in all parts of the year that relate to Jesus. So that
wonderful,
would be
really
great.
interesting to do that. Yeah, I could see that would be a wonderful thing to see.
Yes.
Now, I just want to visit going to where the crucifixion took place. I think that would be difficult for me to handle. I'm being honest. It would be very difficult for me to handle that. I just even saying that to you gives me a chill. It just does.
But it's
Can you,
moving. It's
yeah,
very moving. It has both sides, Nick. It is very hard to, and especially us who know the entire life and teachings of Jesus from birth and even before his bestowal to his ascension and all, fine. But at the same time, it is really glorifying. It is, it is so joyful because we know that when Jesus, he was the living example. He not only just taught, he said, I'm going to show you. So when he said, I'm going to do this, he did it. And so when he resurrected, we are called to resurrect, not the same way as him, but to resurrect, because survival, sur means over and vival, over life. So when we are here on earth, called URANTIA, and when we trespass, okay, and we move on to the mansion worlds and to our ascension paradise-wise and Godward, it is that, so we actually resurrect. And I was just reading in the project that we have you read through a couple of days ago, I was reading about that when they tell us exactly that. They reunite the personality and the soul and everything to resurrect and start our ascension, And so he is the living model of what awaits us. Even living, the other program we did before about the HD mode.
yes.
The human and divine mode, Jesus is the model of that, not just in words, in deeds, and he is our model. I was rereading before we start the program, I was rereading some notes in the URANTIA book, and when they tell us, can I read one quote?
Oh, please, that would be wonderful. Yes.
And before I read it, to be there at the crucifixion, you would have to bring at least a package of Kleenex to make sure that you wipe your
that is
eyes.
an understatement, an understatement.
I knew it would be, but we can actually make a program like you suggested, and I could share maybe pictures and experiences we lived, places we went to, and for the next, because I let Jesus guide me. So when he gives me the green light again and says, Diane, it's time to organize another pilgrimage, I will. The last one I did was in 2020. And it was 1 month before, 1 month after the declaration of COVID. So
Wow.
ever since then, it hasn't been proper to go because of all the fighting and the difficulty and the tension, but it will be back, and I so look forward to go back, Nick. So it's really great. And the quote I wanted to read you is because when we pay attention in paper 196, the very last paper of the URANTIA book, it says, Mark, we know the Bible has the New Testament, and it says, they tell us, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, they retain something of the picture of the human Jesus as he engaged in the superb struggle to ascertain the divine will and to do that will. And then they continue by saying, John presents a picture of the triumphant Jesus as he walked on earth in the full consciousness of divinity. So, next comes the great mistake. They don't say the mistake, they say the great mistake that has been made by us, humanity, okay, by those who have studied the Master's life, is that some people have conceived of him as entirely human, while others have thought of him as only divine. Throughout his entire experience, Jesus was truly both human and divine, comma, even as he yet is. They could have stopped by saying, you know, that he was truly both human and divine, period. No, comma, even as he yet is. So if they tell us, not if, since they tell us that Jesus was both human and divine, even as he yet is, what does that mean? He yet is, that means he's still not just divine, but he's still human. They use the word human and divine, even as he yet is. How is he human, according to you, Nick? How would you interpret that?
Right. It's he was both. He was extreme on both as a man, as a human being, as a man who had limitless love for his fellow men and women, and also the fact that he was coming from God. What an amazing, I mean, think of the dynamic that you're saying right now that he had all his life. It just boggles the mind. It really does. When you really dwell on that and think about what he was, who he was and what he was doing on so many different levels, and he did them all so well.
And what you just described goes exactly with the sentence when they say, even as he yet is. That means he is divine, but he is also here and now human and divine. So what the world needs to find out is that he is human here now through you, Nick, through me, through Hercules, through the entire world, being in each and every one of us with the spirit of truth. He is not just the spirit of truth, even as he yet is human and divine. That means he counts on you and me and the entire planet to express himself in his divinity as well. And this is why we are called sons and daughters of God. That's what I mean by living in our HD mode, just like machines, simple mechanical metal pieces of equipment have their high definition mode in the past 20 years. What about us having our highest definition mode, which means it's time to shift gear. Just like when you drive manual, we've been driving just in the human mode. And we have the result. Look at the wars, look at our arguments, look at the fights, look at this, look at that. It's like, oh, when is it going to stop? We need to pray. But at the same time, if we can only turn our HD, our highest definition as humans, which means our human and divine mode together, what I said, Homo Deus, the man, Son of God, together, if we can only turn our switch on, just like Right now you have your lights on, I have my light on and all this. It's soft, but I like it soft at night, but still there's light. So if we can only start living in the HD mode, all of us together, to love each other. I lived an experience. If you would like, I could share you an experience. It's very personal, but
Please.
I wouldn't mind to share it because we're all human. And just to, I lived it about 2 or 3, probably now 3 hours ago, and it really moved me because today, well, in the past 3 days, we've been celebrating Jesus' birthday. So I've been having wonderful meeting with URANTIA book readers, with people, with everyone, and I love the world. I love people. I love to love, period.
It
And
shows. It shows.
thank you. And so all this to say, as an example, Dick, today, my day started early this morning with a beautiful celebration of Jesus' birthday with the Latinos in South America.
Oh, yes.
It was beautiful, beautiful. I think there was 150 people, and it was great conference and lots of love and everything. So that was great. And then I had to leave and go do something else. And then we had the Center for Unity meeting, the monthly meeting. And so all this to say that everything was going well. And then after this, I reviewed my preparation for tonight and all this. So I was in a state of love and all this. And then I lived an experience that was very, I love the way Jesus teaches me things, not only through words and in the revelation and technicality, but through experience. And very often, right after I read something, I go through, I live an experience relating to that. And so it happened. The phone rang, and I guess I'm not the only one if I tell you that sometimes the people that with whom we can have a difficulty can be a family member, because with strangers in public, it's always very polite. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, and all this. At work, it's the same. Even with URANTIA books, we're all polite and all this. But when it's between family members, sometimes it's like, we take the velvet glove off and it's more like down to earth.
Right, right.
Yes, exactly. And I had a call from a family member, and I can say it because there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it started to be an argument, and I cannot stand arguments. And being in the mood that I was, so elevated spiritually, not all people are going at the same pace, and we have to accept and respect everyone's growth and all that. So there was some argumentation, and I got really, it was like opposite of what I had lived. So after argumenting for a little while, I realized, I said, no, I cannot continue like this. I'm sorry. I'm not in that mood, and I don't want to hurt you, but at the same time, I don't want to argue. And it got spicy. So I said, okay, we stop right here, right there. And right there, I could have stayed in a bad mood because my balloon had been burst, It
Mhm.
was like back to reality. You made on a beautiful level with all those URANTIA book readers, Diane, but it's not the only version of life. And you know what I'm talking about. And I
Sure.
think your listeners understand. Sometimes brothers, sisters, people in family, they argue and da. So I hung up. But then it happened so instantly. I felt very sad, and I was just about ready to cry out of sadness because I could see that the person could not be spoken to. When you stick to your ground and you know the best, forget the rest, okay? But then I decided, Diane, my HD mode, okay. I went into what I call my prayer room. I went to retire alone, disconnected my phone, and I went there and I knelt down and I started with tears. I started to pray. and ask, you know, Jesus, who is here, human and divine, to help me understand the situation. And that I was putting all the situation in his hands, not mine, ours, both parties, to enlighten us, to inspire us, to enlighten us, and to guide us. And it was a very, very profound experience, because from the moment that it was so going in such a wrong direction, and to just stop everything instead of staying in my human mode only. Well, I don't want to talk to him or to her anymore. And, you know, you can stay home and I'll stay in my home. And but that's being human. And that's what's going on around the world right now. One political party, one country against another country, one race against another country, one color against another color. And we're all like butting heads, you know? Instead, I forgot about myself, let go and let God. Go kneel down, go pray, humble yourself to be enlightened, to be inspired. And all of a sudden, oh my God, the revelations, the inspirations that I received, Nick. And then there's one in particular, that an inspiration that I received that I would never have thought about it, because naturally we've known each other for many decades, not just 5 or 10 years. And then I realized that I didn't realize I received the inspiration that that person had collected the character that was not even consciously aware of his misbehavior, because it was just purely inherited from family. And then it just struck me, Diane, clack, look. And then it all opened up, and it brought me into the state of forgiveness, not judging, not attacking, compassion, understanding, and then praying for the person and praying for both of us. And then there was this energy of peace when Jesus says, you know, be at peace and know that I am God. It was so wonderful that I just realized I had just read about the HD mode a few minutes before preparing for my interview with you, and then blank, the phone rings and then I'm put into that state. So that means we need to be conscious, because it doesn't happen automatically. But because if we just dare make the smallest effort to switch, turn our light on, we need to do the switch. It's a free will choice. It's not imposed on us. And if we choose to say, okay, all right, we stop everything. Okay, where's my switch? Okay, my HD mode. And refer to our divine, that the human refers to the divine. And since Jesus is human and divine, even as he yet is, meaning he's here now with us, understands us, is within us, with and in us, with the thought adjuster and the spirit of truth. What better team to have than to let them guide us? And so this is why when I say Team Jesus Worldwide, I see invisible yet, but I see the movement of Team Jesus Worldwide growing ever so increasingly. And it's like the acronym says, TEAM, T-E-A-M. Together, everyone achieves more. So when the world chooses to do that, just like we decided to focus on good, healthy food, and now it's all over the planet, when we will decide to live in our HD mode with the switch on, we will actually be able to achieve that and rise to the point of we will help humanity raise to the level of light and life. And I see you. Jesus,
That's our signal that we have about 10 more minutes to go. And Diane, I think the most important thing that you mentioned was that you deliberately, compassionately asked for help.
Yes,
You set that in motion. If you hadn't have done that, everything else that you were sharing with us wouldn't have happened. But
right.
you had the presence of mind to say, I need help now,
Yes,
please. And
yes.
that is an important point to make. And Jesus said, ask, I'm here. And you did.
And you shall receive.
And you're right, exactly. And a lot of I wish more people would understand that it's okay to ask for help. You should ask for help. And
Yes.
help is there, which you verified by your experience today. So
Oh,
it's an important lesson. Diane, this goes, as you know, this goes so fast. This hour to me seems like 10 minutes. It really does.
I was just going to say already.
I know. It's incredible. I'd like to ask you though, please tell our listeners or viewers how they can know more about you. If there's a website, or is there a way to know more about you or to contact you in some way?
Yes. If they want to reach me personally, they can just email me. It's very simple. It's my name, Diane, Diane, just one N, combined with Labreque, L-A-B as beauty, R-E-C as Charles, Q-U-E. So Diane Labreque, all one word, number 7 at gmail.com if they have a personal question. And if they want, they can join us for a beautiful read-through project that we have for the next 4.5 years. And it's beautiful. But the best thing I would say, Nick, to keep it simple, I like to keep things simple. They can just email me at dianelabreque7 at gmail.com. I will answer all their questions, send them all the links possible, an invitation, and they can be on our mailing list. And it would be wonderful because I'm involved in several projects, and so I could inform them about them.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I want to, at this point, say that if people would like to know more about the URANTIA book, they can do that by going to an amazing website. And I'm going to give that to them slowly so they can get it. It's www.urantia.book.org, yourranchabook.org. That's an amazing site. The book itself, the Rancha book, I believe there's 18 world translations of the book, which is an incredible feat. The Rancha community spent a lot of time and effort to get it right, and it's an amazing thing just to see the 18 different languages that the Rancha book has been translated in. And I understand there's 3 or 4 more they're working on right now. So that's quite something. Also, if anybody would like to contact me, I want to give them my email, which is NICKNYNY1, and that's the numeral 1, not ONE, but the numeral 1 at gmail.com. So it's Nick, NYNY1 at gmail.com. And I'd be more than happy to answer any question or whatever they have in mind. Wow, this has been amazing. Hercules, how much more time do we have now?
You have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Diane, within a couple of minutes, would you want to leave your thoughts as we're leaving this program to the people who are listening or watching, something about Jesus, perhaps, because it's his birthday area?
The most important sentence that comes to my mind right now, here and now, Nick, is when Jesus says, the one who has seen the Son has seen the Father, because the Son and the Father are one. Okay, and then he says, no one goes to the Father except through me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. When he says no one, that means nilt, forget it. No one. If you don't come through me, forget it. You're
Mhm.
lost. And I'm saying this, it's very important because right now I observe that there's a lot of duping or misleading or all kinds of attraction that to me are just temptations, but it doesn't seem to be so real. You know, there's a lot of, anyway, Jesus said, no one goes to the Father except through me. So why not start on the right foot and be in love with Jesus, become in love, just not only know Jesus or know about Jesus, but when you read example part 4 of the URANTIA book, which is 777 pages of 77 papers, and you discover his life and teachings, you cannot but not fall in love, not negative, become in love, come to be totally in love with Jesus. And being in love with Jesus means what? You become in love with God, our creator. So it's he's the way. He didn't say I am one of or the best or your ideal or your favorite. No, I am the way. So he is the way, and he's here and now with us, and he knows that we love him. And it's an honor to be your guest to talk about Jesus. Thank you, Nick.
Absolutely. What a blessing. What a blessing for our planet, for each man and woman and child on our planet, in the past, the present, and the future, to have such an amazing friend, such an incredible friend that you can go to and ask, please help me. I need more information. I need to know what's the right thing to do, and have someone that would listen and give advice.
I need your guidance.
What
And
a
it works.
blessing.
It works.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. It just doesn't. And
No.
we have that. It's there for us to use. And that is a blessing we can all share and use. And hopefully what you're talking about as far as our planet, we need the love, the limitless love right now more than ever. And through Jesus, we will have that. I do believe that's true. Thank you, Diane. You are a blessing too. You're wonderful. I so enjoy spending time talking about the areas that we both love so much. Thank you very much for being my guest.
And to end, I would like to just say a few seconds, if I'm allowed. Is it okay, Hercules?
You have a minute.
Okay, I'll do it less than a minute. When Jesus visited me in my house, okay? And this is as real as I'm looking at you, Nick, and you, Hercules, and even more real than this. And there hasn't been one single day I have not thought about it, and it's been 35 years this year, on December the 14th, 1990. And then many things happen. Okay, I keep telling people, when you meet Jesus, I'll tell you, it is something, an experience you remember for eternity. He is so impressive, so full of love. There's no human words to describe it. So when you talk about Jesus like this, it is so true that the world needs that. He is what he says that he is. And hallelujah, because it changes one's life completely and entirely.
Amen to that. Thank you, Diane. Lovely. Thank you, Hercules.
And thank you both for a wonderful show, as always. And in the name of Mount Olympus, joyous journeys, amazing adventures to all, and happy holiday to both of you and to all readers of the URANTIA book.
Much love to everyone, everywhere. Much love.
Yes, always and forever.